This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Here we go, through the shadow of your soul. When you're all alone, tell me, do you break? Talk to me, don't let the time go. Talk to me, where did our minds go?
Following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you so know it, and so do I. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, today is Monday. May the 4th be with you. Yeah, you know what it is. May the 4th of 2026. Yeah, it's May the 4th be with you day, because that's just kind of what happens. Anyways, we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida. That's in Orlando, Florida. Yeah, as we are broadcasting across the multiverse known as Safety FM and then hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at radiobig.fm.
Oh, yes, doing the streamer-emer stuff, because that's kind of what we do around here, hanging out, doing all of the crazy stuff that we get to do, no doubt, inside of the world of the multiverse. So anyways, how was your weekend? Did you do anything exciting? Anything you want to brag about? Anything you want to call in at callinradio.com about? Call-in radio, just in case you don't know, that kind of gets you into our system. Video, audio, and text messaging are the options once you get there. All three are readily available. Just ask you kind of a question. I get a prompter over here on the screen, and then I kind of know what to do next in regards if I should be jumping from one segment to the other. That's kind of the way that it goes. So there you go. Anyways, a lot of fun stuff going on in Orlando over the weekend, no doubt here. If you were hanging out in this general area, Van Halen, if you're familiar with them, David Lee Roth was here last night. Also some other concerts going on over the weekend. So it was a pretty interesting time, depending on what the hell you had going on. No doubt about that. I have this weird fan obsession with David Lee Roth since I was a kid, but we can leave that conversation for another day. Maybe we'll do show and tell and even share some pictures of back in the day. Anyways, with that being said, let me talk about what our show exactly consists of, because it consists of safety in the news and safety. So what do we do around here? We kind of go around and we talk a little bit about this, we talk a little bit about that, and then we kind of go through everything that our professional broadcasters want us to go through. And then once we're done with that section, the next part goes into this. We do some level of a main story, which that means that I have to come up with something and then kind of go through the whole thing of what exactly is going on. Yeah, no pressure there. I know, right? So then that's it. And then we kind of make a move. And that becomes the whole show. The whole show. Some people say the whole effing show, but I won't do that. So there it is. Okay, so if you are ready, I am ready. I do have some friends hanging out at Feature Story News that would like to talk to us. And just to make sure, we are a radio station that has a radio show that goes into a podcast, that goes into a video cast, not to be mixed and matched in regards of exactly how we do that particular order. So if you are good, I am good. So let's go ahead and get you started right now with what the hell the people have to say in feature story news. So I guess let's go ahead and get into the news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in Paris, I'm Ross Cullen. The US will begin guiding stranded tankers through the Strait of Hormuz on Monday. President Trump warned Iran that if it tries to interfere, it will be met with military force. In a lengthy social media post, the US leader claimed countries from all over the world were asking him to intervene. Here's our US correspondent Tony Waterman in Washington.
President Trump has framed this as a humanitarian gesture to free up ships and crews that have been stranded for months. But U.S. naval escorts transiting through the strait would also be a direct challenge to Iran's control over it and risks kicking off a new front in the war. On Saturday, the deputy speaker of Iran's parliament, Ali Nighzad, said Tehran will not step back from the waterway and that the strait will not return to its pre-war state. President Trump claims talks with Iran are very positive, even after rejecting its latest proposal. Iran says it's now reviewing the U.S.'s response to its 14-point peace offer.
Most Asian markets traded higher on Monday, helped by the tech sector. President Donald Trump's commitment to guide ships through the Strait of Hormuz helped bring down oil prices. Laura Westbrook reports from Hong Kong.
Benchmark indexes in South Korea and Taiwan both jumped more than 3%, boosted by AI-related stocks. Meanwhile, the global oil benchmark Brent crude hovered at around $107 a barrel. The United States is maintaining a blockade of Iranian ports, and Tehran is keeping the Strait of Hormuz effectively closed. There was optimism in markets after President Donald Trump said the U.S. will begin guiding ships not involved in the Iran conflict through the Strait of Hormuz from Monday. But a senior Iranian official warns that Tehran would consider any U.S. interference in the strait a ceasefire breach. Analysts are watching for concrete moves in resolving the situation in the strait, warning of the impact of a prolonged Middle East conflict on the global economy if oil prices stay elevated.
German Chancellor Friedrich Merz has tried to dial down the tensions with President Trump, telling German media that he will not give up on the transatlantic relationship. The US president has called for 5,000 US troops to be withdrawn from Germany as his frustration grows over a perceived lack of support from US allies. Here's FSN's Mitch McCann.
After posting online that the US is considering a reduction in American troops in Germany, Mr. Trump doubled down when speaking to reporters, saying they haven't been exactly on board, adding when asked if he would cut troops in Italy and Spain, "Why shouldn't I? Italy has not been of any help. Spain has been horrible, absolutely." The US launched its joint attack on Iran without notifying most of its allies, and most European partners have refused to become directly involved in the conflict.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, President Trump's threat to make even deeper cuts to the US military presence in Germany is unnerving NATO leaders who worry it may be the beginning of the end for the alliance. Polish President Donald Tusk said over the weekend that he believes NATO is now disintegrating. He called for European members of the alliance to redouble their efforts to reverse what he called a disastrous trend. Mark Leahy is a former NATO spokesman.
What Tusk said about the ongoing disintegration, he is referring very much to Donald Trump and his dislike of NATO. It's a temper tantrum. He's throwing Teddy out the cot because Merz said something nasty about him. But it is an indicative of a eroding credibility, which Putin will love, and further stress and strains within NATO. So if you like, NATO is not disintegrating, but at the edges, things are going wrong. And we can't get away from that. And we've still got 2.5 years of Trump to survive, and who knows what follows him. So it is a worrying time, just no getting away from them.
President Trump's plans are also running into trouble in Congress, where prominent Republican lawmakers say they're concerned about the plan to scale back the US military presence in Germany. They're urging the White House to consider at least moving the troops to NATO's eastern flank, closer to Russia instead. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
And now another look at the top stories. The US will begin guiding stranded tankers through the Strait of Hormuz on Monday. President Trump warned Iran that if it tries to interfere, it will be met with military force. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz has tried to dial down tensions with President Trump after the US threatened to withdraw thousands of troops from Germany. And 3 people have died after a suspected virus outbreak on a cruise ship en route from Argentina to Cape Verde. That's the latest feature story news. This is Ross Cullen reporting from Paris.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home title locks put a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com. Embrace a daily boost of nature with Field of Greens. Discover the simple power of one scoop to elevate your well-being. Enjoy the flavor that appeals to you the most and let the blend of organic fruits and vegetables enhance your life. Experience the following benefits with Fields of Greens. Noticeable energy increase to power you throughout the day. Improved quality of sleep. Enhanced digestive comfort and a general uplift in your wellness. Field of Greens stands out with the selection of organically grown ingredients, each carefully picked for its benefits to your heart and overall health. We are confident that you'll appreciate the benefits of Field of Greens. If it doesn't meet your expectations, we offer a straightforward money-back guarantee. Jumpstart your health journey with a special offer. 15% off your first purchase plus complimentary expedited shipping. Just visit fieldofgreens.com and use the code SAFETYFM to redeem your discount. That's SAFETYFM at fieldofgreens.com. Experience nature's touch at fieldofgreens.com/SAFETYFM. And don't forget to tell them that Jay Allen sent you.
You've seen the loop. You've felt the shift. The script doesn't fit anymore, and neither do you. Safety transmission. The collapse of the construct is the third and final signal in the trilogy from Jay Allen, PhD. And this time, it's not about waking up. It's about what you do once you're awake. The system didn't break. It just stopped pretending to hold you. And now it's blinking, rebranding presence, packaging resistance, and calling it progress. This book isn't a guide. It's a transmission. It doesn't teach the system how to evolve. It shows you how to stop performing for it. You'll see what happens when awareness becomes responsibility, when audits don't listen, and when leadership becomes a loop. But if you've made it this far, you're not here to be managed. You're here to carry signal. Safety Transmission, The Collapse of the Construct. Now available in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by Jay Allen, PhD. Because if it couldn't hold your signal, it was never real to begin with.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Oh, here we go. 15 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Monday. So let's get into it right away about what the hell is going on inside of the multiverse. Because that just seems like the thing that we would be doing. I mean, what else did you think we'd be doing? I don't know. I'm just asking. So do we want to start off with, I don't know, because there's a couple of weird things that happened. So we can do a different kind of thing because we can do it from the standpoint of, hey, we did the Kentucky Derby, or do we really want to make like that big deal about some other stuff that are going on? So let's start off with the Kentucky Derby because some people were like super excited about this. So let's see. Golden Tempo wins the race. Take a listen.
Renegade and Golden Tempo are closing too. Here's Golden Tempo. Golden Tempo and Cherie DeVaux make history in the Kentucky Derby over Renegade in a final time of 2:02.27 seconds.
Okay, so there you go. That was the excitement that was taking place. Jose Ortiz, Golden Tempo's jockey, talks about the win. Take a listen to this.
Jose, we just heard from Cherie DeVaux, her first Kentucky Derby win, the first woman to win the Kentucky Derby, but this has been your lifelong dream and your lifelong mission. What's it mean to you to get here for your first Derby win?
It's a dream come true. This is the biggest race in the world for me, and I'm just blessed that I get to ride it almost every year, but get to win it is just special. To have my mom and my dad here today is very special. I just wish my grandpa was here, but I know he's looking from heaven. Just very happy that I get my goal, my life dream goal achieved, and you know it's just amazing experience. I can't wait to see my family and celebrate.
So, I mean, I can understand if this is something huge to you, you're going to be super excited about some of the things that are going on, no doubt. So there you go, some stuff to talk about as we are talking. Let's get into some serious business if you do not mind. I don't know, did you hear about this? Because this was pretty interesting. A United flight arriving from Venice had a terrifying near disaster when it clipped a bakery truck while trying to cross over the New Jersey Turnpike during the final approach into Newark Airport. UA-169 carrying 221 passengers and 10 crew members hit the truck at a light pole just before 2 p.m. yesterday. Video shows that the plane wheels were hitting the bakery van, sending debris flying into a briefly swallowing the driver from the view. The truck driver survived with only minor cuts and released from the hospital on the same night. Let's see, Chuck Patakis of H&S Bakery said that the outcome was short of divine luck. Not divine intervention, that's interesting. Adding a scenario that played out that he doubts anyone would walk away from. United acknowledged that the plane hit a light pole, but made no mention of the truck in the initial statement. The aircraft landed safely and then taxied to the gate normally. The FAA and Port Authority confirmed that the plane damaged both the tractor and the pole, and the investigation is underway. New Jersey Governor Mickey Sherrill said that they're grateful that everyone on board is safe and that the officials are monitoring the situation as the United investigates how a landing ended up making contact with the highway traffic. So That's one way a delivery of fresh bread airdropped, I guess is one way to look at it. And the pilot said, final approach, the truck heard final destination. So take a listen to this. So that's not like a made-up sound effect. That is one of those things, and that's exactly what was occurring in real time. Here's where I get kind of weirded out about stuff as of late, and I'm just going to reference it, and then you can tell me what you think. Doesn't it seem like we're having a lot more conversations as of late related to this in regards of what exactly is going on when it comes to a lot of FAA related stuff? And I'm talking about more along the lines that we're hearing and more stuff about plane issues and near misses as of late than what I think that we've ever heard at any time before. What do you think about this? Or am I looking at this going the wrong way with it? Because I don't know. I don't think I've heard so many things about near misses and planes colliding and almost colliding and all that stuff. So I'm just trying to figure it out what makes the most sense when it's all said and done. Because, man, it's like you start hearing so much about flight stuff, you start going, well, maybe this is not such a good idea after all. Okay, so let's continue talking about some other stuff that is going on. So here you go. A disgruntled employee. This is a one to take a listen to. A new security video shows the moment that a car packed with explosives plowed through the lobby of the Portland's Multawa athletic club early Saturday morning, triggering a fiery blast that killed the driver and left the building ground floor in ruins. Authorities say that the SUV, a rented Nissan Rogue, smashed through the front entrance at 3 a.m. before the explosives inside detonated. Investigators believe that the driver was a disgruntled former employee who deliberately targeted the club. The devices reportedly included propane tanks, a pipe bomb, though only some detonated. The impact caused millions of dollars in damage, with the entire ground floor described as completely destroyed. Emergency crews shut down the surrounding streets as flames tore through the entrance. No other injuries were reported. The club, which has more than 21,000 members, has been closed indefinitely, calling it a significant incident and saying that safety is the top priority. Leadership acknowledged that the shock in the community after the unauthorized video clips began circulating. Oddly, though, this is the second crash at the club this month, though police say that the earlier incident, the one that happened on April the 8th, which injured a security guard, was unrelated. Hold on. So you're telling me that you have a club that all of a sudden has taken two pretty significant attacks in less than a month, and they're not related? Okay. So is this a copycat scenario? That's maybe that's the question that I should be asking instead. So there you go. Okay, this one came up last night. I had not seen this before, but I want to talk about it in regards to this. Rudy Giuliani, the former New York City mayor and longtime Trump ally, and once one of the most influential figures in American politics, was hospitalized yesterday in Florida. Just in case you don't remember, he was the mayor during September 11th, 2001. They're saying that he is currently in critical but stable condition. His spokesperson, Ted Goodman, said that Giuliani is a fighter and asked for the public to join us in prayers for America's mayor. Giuliani, who is 81, appeared visibly ill during a Facebook live stream on Friday night, coughing and warning viewers that his voice was under the weather. President Trump reacted on Truth Social, because, we have to talk about it. It was posted on social media, calling Giuliani a true warrior and the best mayor in the history of New York City by far. All capitalized, the last part. He also used the moment to attack Democrats, claiming that Giuliani had been treated so badly and was right about everything, including his efforts to challenge the 2020 election results. Really? Hold on. So this guy's in the hospital, and this was the time to talk about this? I mean, I don't know. I think it's kind of a weird timing type of thing. Listen, I'm not saying the guy didn't contest it, and hey, he was one of your, we'll say one of your troopers. But man, at the same time, this is the time to talk about it. I don't know. I sometimes get lost on some side focuses. So I've always been told a couple of different things. Misdirection is very important. And if you ever want to hide stuff from people, hide it in public. If you don't want them to see it, hide it right there in the open. Just saying. Okay, let's continue talking about some other stuff. During a live CNN interview, U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, Janine Perot, appointed by by President Trump, dismissed Tucker Carlson's recent comments about Trump as irrelevant to her work. The exchange came after CNN's Jake Tapper, played a video clip from Carlson's April 15th podcast in which he speculated whether the president could be the Antichrist. Tapper asked Bureau whether the remark was incendiary. Pyro pressed back and it's off, saying that Carlson's commentary is not relevant. And so, to her responsibility, she emphasized that her focus is on evidence and framed that the president as someone who is being targeted amid a national debate over whether if this is politically motivated to violence. The discussion followed a recent attempt to attack on the White House Correspondents' Dinner, which authorities say that is at least the third attempt on Trump's life. And then she later compared Carlson's remark to former director James Comey. Controversial social media post showing seashells arranged in 8647, which Comey's indictment on allegations the post constituted a threat. Pyro declined to weigh in on the pundits or political commentary, reiterating that her role is strictly prosecutorial. So she's just doing that. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that it seems, at least I'm going to say it seems, that we discuss that seems like people just have feelings hurt. Yeah, feelings hurt. And they go about doing some stuff in some different ways. I don't know. Like, okay, the Antichrist thing. Let's talk about that for a moment. If you've ever read the book, that's kind of supposed to duplicate or mimic the original story of Christ. I don't think I'm not sure if Trump's in the 30 to 33 age range at this particular moment. And then the other portion, 8647. We've already talked about the 86 thing. So I don't know, because I remember there used to be shells, or not shells, but quotes of 8646. So I don't know if that meant anything at the time either, because I've never heard of it as a death threat. But I don't know. I'm just telling you, I have never heard of it as a death threat before, but that's just kind of the way that it goes from time to time. So I don't know. What do you think when it comes to the whole thing? Or do you look at it and go, you're not seeing the whole picture? That's why I'm asking. Callinradio.com for more.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, let's continue talking about some other stuff, because this is what we do around here. Cole Thomas Allen, the 31-year-old accused of attempting to carry out the armed attack at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, is challenging the conditions of his confinement in Washington, D.C. jail. His attorney told the court that Allen was placed on suicide watch immediately after booking, despite two separate assessments finding no suicide risk. According to the filing, Allen has been held in a safe cell with padded walls, kept on 24-hour lockdown, strip search whenever he enters or exits a room, and required to wear a restrictive safety vest. A nurse reportedly determined on Friday that he no longer needed the suicide precautions, but his status has not yet been downgraded. Allen faces major federal charges, including attempted assassination of the president, which carries a potential life sentence. Prosecutors say that he tried to storm the Correspondents' Dinner armed with a shotgun, handgun, and knives, sprinting towards the Secret Service checkpoint before exchanging gunfire with agents. Secret Service officers was struck in the chest but protected by a ballistic vest. Isn't that just a bulletproof vest? Can we just say that? And he was subdued after the gunfire exchange and arrested on the site. Authorities also recovered a manifesto he sent to family members shortly before the attack, in which he described his intent to target the president and senior administration officials. So what do you think here? Restricted vest, padded room, in regards to the stuff that was going on. So is this one of these things that we take a look at it and go, yeah, you did the deed, so pay for it, is what they're saying? based on video. Because listen, you know how they say innocent until proven guilty. Sometimes they say it the other way too, but you know what I'm talking about here. So what happens when you have it on video like this? Because that's going to be the other question. Because I don't know if you can turn around and say guilty as charged, but man, you can say probably some other things when it's all said and done. So I don't know. What are you thinking as we are talking? Just some stuff to really consider here for a moment. So here you go. Okay, so let's continue talking real quick. A man in Jordan gave a wounded butterfly a second chance at life by building a tiny prosthetic wing made of dried orchid petals. The 30-year-old man spotted the butterfly while hiking and noticed that he couldn't fly. Its right wing badly crumpled, so that he gently took it home in an empty food container and began nursing it with drops of sugar water. After a few days, he remembered that he had a pink orchid petal pressed inside of a book for nearly 9 years. He traced the shape of the butterfly's healthy wing and cut it matching the piece of the dried petal. And after watching tutorials on how to safely handle a butterfly, carefully removed the damaged wing and attached the handmade replacement with a tiny amount of glue. The man said that butterflies don't feel pain in their wings, only pressure, so he worked slowly to squeeze to avoid harming it. The entire repair took about an hour, not counting the days of care beforehand. To his amazement, the butterfly began moving more freely almost immediately. By the next day, it was able to fly again. So I wonder now if they went ahead and took care of all this and then posted on social media, because does it count if we didn't do it? I'm just saying. So there you go. There you go. There you go. Okay. I got two. Let's do both. Let's see. A 68-year-old Domino delivery driver in Idaho, Dan Simpson, has officially retired after the viral kindness inspired strangers to donate more than $170,000 to him. And he became an online sensation when the doorbell camera footage showed him making a second trip on his own time and out of his own money to buy a Diet Coke for a couple after his store ran out. The customer, Brian Wilson, posted the video on TikTok where racked up millions of views and led him to launch a GoFundMe to help Simpson finally stop working two jobs. Simpson, who spent 14 years delivering pizza as a second job while also working full-time for the State Department of Agriculture, said that he woke up to his retirement day to find $160,000 in account. Wilson later revealed that he and his wife visually impaired, making Simpson's extra effort especially meaningful. The viral moment quickly spread, with coworkers telling Simpson that he had become famous online. So there you go. And let me give you this one real quick, because, there was some other things going on over the weekend. So take a listen to this. Spirit Airlines abruptly shut down operations over the weekend after failing to secure the government funding in need to stay afloat. In a statement, the airline announced that it was winding down immediately, canceling all flights, ending customer service, and promising automatic refunds for tickets purchased with credit or debit cards. Spirit said that it was proud of its 33 years runs in the ultra low-cost carrier, but could no longer continue without financial support. As the airline collapsed, one man launched a crowdfunding campaign with a bold idea. If every American adult chipped in for the cost of the average Spirit fare, that would be $30 to $40. They could collectively buy the airline. His website, letsbuyspirit.com, went viral, and he pulled in nearly $23 million in pledges in a single day before the site crashed from overwhelming traffic. He admitted that he built the site in an hour and it was terrible. He currently has no money to fix it, asking developers to reach out. But the reality check is harsh. Spirit is seeking $500 million bailout, but to keep it operating and paying its employees. So while $23 million is impressive, it's worth nowhere near what's needed to resurrect the airline. And by the way, probably more than likely, whatever company he's using to do the crowdfunding, they want a percentage of that. So that's something to think about too. Anyways, we're already running behind, but we'll do abbreviated today. We'll do abbreviated. Let's do the main story. Seriously.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
So let's get into some main story time, and let's just talk about some of the weird things that go on out there from time to time in regards of some things to talk about. And I really want to focus today on agreements that are done, agreements that are read, and agreements that are understood. So I have to tell you, if you are not aware of this, I might have a minor, major surprise for you in some kind of weird way as we are talking. Are you aware that when you normally start a new job, there is a shitload of paperwork that you have to sign? Have you ever noticed that? Like, did you kind of realize that why is it like the first few hours is just paperwork? And if you are a if you have a contract with a company because you're kind of like a C-suite level, it's normally a contract, it's normally how it works. That could be like half a day worth of paperwork the first day. But I'm going to tell you a little secret that most people don't know. Duh. During day numero uno, they will have you, most organizations, sign a shitload of weird paperwork. And sometimes, because it's that happy-go-lucky moment, people will sign off on stuff that they might not 100% understand. No, like seriously, that they might not 100% understand. So what happens? What happens is the following. They all of a sudden will agree to terms that they would never agree to once they're hired. And I'm talking about anything from mediation. I'm talking about anything to monitoring devices on the equipment that you're using while you're working. I'm talking about keyloggers. I'm talking about trade secret information and all this other kind of stuff. And it's normally purposed in that scenario because it's day number one. It's that happy-go-lucky day. And I'm not meaning that things are going to go terribly wrong later on, but they know that if that particular time you are asked to sign something along these lines, you are more than likely going to sign it. But here's the funny part that ends up taking place. What people do not understand is that in most states, if you take a look at it, you have 3 business days to renege on a contract after you sign it. Business days. So take a look around, and if you sign an agreement and all of a sudden realize that you do not agree with it, well, you have those 3 days to do it. And that I'm talking when they go the whole execution. Sometimes people call it dead in the water too, where you can't talk for that period of time. And why am I bringing this up today? What I dislike a lot is going through that whole process of where you hand an agreement with someone, you hand over a contract to someone, and you say, listen, this is the breakdown points of what we're doing. They agree to it, and then all of a sudden, it's like they didn't understand anything all of a sudden. It's the weirdest scenario, and it's not like I'm so pissed off that it makes no sense to me. It's just one of those things that I go, why is it that we're so excited about signing off on something without fully understanding the commitment that we're making? I say that from the standpoint for the following. If you take a look around at what's going on, sometimes you will realize that logically, things in the long form are better for you if you read the contract and understand it. I'm a firm believer that if you have a lawyer, if you have a legal advisor, that any time that you are signing an agreement, they should look over it with you before you decide. And I specifically reference this on this show today because I want you to think about this. Some of the work that you do is considered hazardous. Probably more than likely just a little bit more than just a little bit of work, a good chunk of your work, because of some of the environments that you have to be in. That's also the environments that your frontline employees are in, your frontline teammates, however you want to look at it. So I reference this from the standpoint of when you look at work agreements, are you so excited about the job that you tend to forget to look at the details? Because at no point should it be, if you do not sign this immediately, we're done. Because if that's the weird pressure that's coming about, maybe that's not the place for you. Here's the funny part that I'll reference real quick. I used to work for this organization, very well known, triple letter type of organization. And what they would do is sometimes with some of the older employees, and when I say older, I'm not talking about like old as in regards to the person's old, that we'll call them legacy employees, but employees that had been there for a while, they never had an NDA signed off with them. So they never went back and had an NDA signed. So what they would do is that if the person was let go or terminated, or that position, quote unquote, no longer existed, because all they would do is retitle what exactly they were replacing. That way they would say that they didn't have the spot. They would say, here you go. We are going to offer you a severance package. In part of the severance package, you have to agree to this NDA. And then guess what? The NDA kind of had this weird clause in it, because what it would say is, okay, non-disclosure agreement, but non-disparaging inside of there too. And then on top of that, they would do the following thing. Also had this whole format where you could not sue them in the future. And keep in mind, more than likely you did not know you were being let go. More than likely you did not know that the position was going away. And then all of a sudden it was like, here is what we're willing to give you. This is your letting go package. Take it or leave it. And they would pressure them that it had to be done on the spot, with the people not understanding the 72-hour rule, or 3 business day rule, at least in the area that we were in at the time. So it became very interesting. It became one of those things that I looked at it and I never understood what made the most logical sense on what people should do. So is it take the severance package? Is it not take the severance package? Because if you didn't take the severance package and you had nowhere to go immediately, what were you supposed to do? So at the end of the day, all I am saying, make sure that you understand whatever the hell you're signing off on when somebody's trying to give that to you, because it could mean a lot more than what you think. And if you don't understand it, make sure somebody else is definitely reviewing it.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
This isn't a safety manual. It's a transmission. Jay Allen, PhD, host of the Rated R Safety Show and founder of Safety FM, has spent years pulling back the curtain on the systems we work in and the ones we don't talk about. What started as a fatal crash on the 405 became a search for truth. Through behavior-based safety, human and organizational performance, simulation theory, and everything in between. Safety, in my opinion, is raw, reflective, and real. From burnout to breakthroughs, from the matrix to the moment someone says, "This doesn't feel right." This book doesn't give you answers. It hands you the signal. Safety, in my opinion. Available now, wherever books and audiobooks are found.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Don't let go of my hands.
I really hope you can't feel all my pain. That's a whole other story. Anyways, 45 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Monday, just in case you forgot what day of the week it was. So yeah, a lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse as we are hanging out on the May the 4th to be with you. So this right here that you're taking a listen to, this is All Your Pain. This is by a group called Night. Songs readily available on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and Pandora. Yeah, go ahead and give it a little streamer-eamer action. Because you can feel all our pain. And then when it's all said and done, hey, we would like to thank Night for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. Okay, I better get away from this because I know how I'll go. I'll end up playing the whole song and go, oh shit, I don't have anything to play towards the end of the show here. Okay, so thanks to Night once again for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. Okay, so let's talk about some other things real quick, if you do not mind. Let me tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help, and we want you to know that people have been where you are now and that things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, I got some more info for you. All you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, all kinds of information for you related to addiction, anxiety, depression, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, grief support, trauma, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. I'm going to tell you, once you get to that website, everything can change for you if you allow it to do so. No joke whatsoever as I am saying that. TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. Okay, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse. In case you have not heard, we have a little event coming up July the 13th in good old Orlando. All you have to do is scan the little QR code that's right there on the screen or go to safetyfm.io. I'm going to tell you, you go there, it's going to have some information for you. The event, we're calling it Reality Shift, an observational symposium. We'll have Nick Weatherly there talking about behavior-based safety. Todd Conklin there talking about human and organizational performance, and I will be there talking about Signal. We'll also watch a little documentary because we're doing this inside of a movie theater. Much different approach than any of the other events that we're actually doing. Because this is the first time that we're trying this out, we do have some special pricing for this one. If you go there, you'll notice immediately that these are normally not the prices for events with the speakers that we're having up there. That's for sure. So you will notice that there is a price difference than the norm. So all you have to do is go to safetyfm.io to find out. Like I said, in a movie theater, we are doing it on Monday in Orlando, Monday, July the 13th. just for the sake for you to hang out in Orlando if you want to do that over the weekend, and then kind of get you right in as we are doing that on Monday. It's a one-day event happening, like I said, inside of a movie theater. We're going to synthesize. It's not a debate. It's not which one's better. It's about let's debate nothing. Let's talk about how we synthesize the difference and how we actually make it all work together when it's all said and done. So there you go. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. I got some John Smalls waiting in the wing wanting to talk about the Motivation Minute. So why would we not do that? So let's do that right now.
The Motivation Minute.
Courtesy of JaceCaseMedical.com. Today's quote was submitted by Angie. Willie Nelson said, "Once you replace negative thoughts with positive ones, you'll start having positive results." I love this. Willie Nelson has been an old man for as long as I can remember. He's in his 90s now. His music career has been historic. And a fun fact for you, Willie Nelson actually made me late for work one time. I was working at a music festival about 6 hours from where I lived. Willie was the final performer on the final evening. He was supposed to be done at about 10 p.m. Well, he did so many encores that the show went long, way long. I didn't get on the road till way after midnight. My brother was driving while I was trying to get some sleep. I still had to call and let the radio station know that I was not going to be there by 6 a.m. But at least I was able to blame it on Willie Nelson. And it was true, so that's kind of fun.
The Motivation Minute.
This has been the Motivation Minute. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
A bulk carrier navigating near the Strait of Hormuz was attacked by several small craft on Sunday morning.
The British Maritime Agency reported that the vessel and its entire crew are currently safe following the incident. This marks at least 24 separate attacks in the strategic waterway since the start of the Iran war. Military officials are advising all commercial ships to maintain extreme caution. Chris Anderson reporting.
Senator Tom Tillis announced that he is prepared to support Kevin Warsh as the next Federal Reserve Chair.
The North Carolina Republican had previously threatened to block the confirmation vote due to a Department of Justice investigation. Tillis shifted his stance after federal prosecutors agreed to drop the probe into the central bank earlier this week. Kyle Norris reporting.
Iran confirmed on Sunday that officials are currently reviewing a United States response to their recent 14-point peace proposal.
The diplomatic message was delivered via mediators in Pakistan as both nations navigate a period of high regional tension. While Tehran state media noted that nuclear negotiations are not yet active, the exchange signals a potential shift. Global leaders are closely watching these developments for any signs of a lasting ceasefire in the conflict. Benjamin Wright, reporting.
United States Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent projected on Sunday that global energy prices will likely decline later this year.
Bessent explained that current market surges are primarily driven by the volatility of the ongoing war with Iran. He expressed confidence that costs will drop significantly once the military conflict reaches a resolution in the Middle East. Consumers are currently facing high costs at the pump as the Strait of Hormuz remains partially blocked. Jessica Oakley reporting.
Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves officially declared the start of Hurricane Preparedness Week during a public address.
Reeves urged residents to begin assembling emergency supply kits and reviewing evacuation routes before the start of the Atlantic season. The governor noted that the state has faced numerous natural disasters and emphasized the importance of early planning. Kevin Sanders reporting.
7 OPEC Plus member nations announced plans to increase their collective oil production by nearly 200,000 barrels.
The production hike is scheduled to take effect in June following an online meeting of the major energy exporters. This decision comes despite the recent departure of the United Arab Emirates from the group earlier this week. Analysts suggest the move is intended to stabilize global markets amid the ongoing crisis in the Middle East. Gary Beck reporting.
Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche defended the federal indictment of James Comey during a nationally televised news interview.
Blanche stated that the criminal charges involving the former director are based on significant evidence beyond a single social media post. Legal experts have expressed skepticism regarding the strength of the case involving the seashell photo shared on Instagram. Lawrence Keller reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
Okay, so here we go. 54 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 1910, Tel Aviv was founded. In 1942, food first rationed in the U.S. In 1964, Another World and As the World Turns premieres on TV. Let's talk about some celebrity birthdays that are going on today. Richard Jenkins turned 79. Randy Travis turned 67. Mary Madonna turned 65. Will Arnett, 56. Kamora Lee Simmons turns 51. Eric Andrews turns 48, and Lance Bass turns 47 today. So there you go. Let's talk about some things that you ought to know, because that's what we do here. Here are Friday's Mega Million numbers. The jackpot was $178 million. So here you go. 16, 21, 27, 41, 61, and the Mega Ball was 24. Here's Saturday night's Powerball numbers. The jackpot was for $20 million. It goes like this: 25, 37, 42, 52, 65. Powerball was 14. Power Play was 3. So there you go. What else do we got going on? Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche said yesterday that the new indictment against former FBI Director James Comey is not based solely on the new infamous 8647 Instagram post that angered President Trump. Todd also explained that the charges stem from months-long investigations that were presented to the grand jury. While the seashell photo showing numbers arranged on the beach is included in the case file, Todd emphasizes the indictment is broader and not centered on a single post. So there you go. Also, in some other news, before we get too far, President Trump said yesterday that the U.S. will begin guiding commercial ships through the strait as tensions with Iran continue to disrupt traffic. Though through the vital waterway, the effort is called Project Freedom is set to start this morning. It is described by the president as a humanitarian gesture aimed at helping neutral vessels that have been stuck in the area. He added that the new interference with the operation would be handled forcefully. The announcement came shortly after a merchant ship reported being approached and attacked by several small boats near the strait in Iran. According to the UK Maritime Trade Operations, no injury reported. The strait remains a major flashpoint, and with the standoff significantly slowing down global shipping through one of the world's most important trade routes. So there you go. Anyways, that's going to sum up our time together. At the top of the hour, we'll be going over to radiobig.fm if you want to come hang out with me for the next couple hours or so, as we will be talking about the world of music and entertainment over there, because that's what we do on that particular side. If you don't want to go over there, that's perfectly fine. You can hang out here with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. So there you go. If I can't leave you with some words of wisdom for today, let me leave you with this: small steps count. They're still steps. They still move you forward. So keep that in mind. Also, in some other news, if you need some advice for today, keep a dry erase marker in your bathroom. You can jot reminders or affirmations right in the mirror and then wipe them off later. So there you go. Some things to think about as we are talking. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.